lady, I'm home alone. Why would I don't lie to anybody. I don't care. I know, yeah, but I did on my phone before I went out and got in her car. I opened it up to the dial pad and I pushed 911.
911, what's your emergency? Hey, hello, there's someone breaking in my house. Help! What's the address you're at? Help!
Carol it is. Carol, if you want to have a seat right there. You have a drink? You want water or anything?
Y'all want to take this out?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You can take them out with it if you want.
And we'll hold on to them for you. No problem. I'm just going to put them out here. Let me grab some things. We'll be right back.
That's fine. I'll be here.
Thank you.
So your soda's good, right, Carol?
Yeah, I'm good for now.
Alright. So, the reason why we wanted to talk to you here was one for privacy.
Right.
You know, I know you said your neighbors were nosy, such and such. So, that's kind of why we came back here. We were notified by St. Charles County, I guess there was an incident within the last week or so that involved you, and you kind of made some mention of getting in some car or something.
Yep.
Can you tell us about that?
I don't remember the date. I'm just going to put that up, and my days run together since I'm off work. The cleaning house took me about 2 hours, so I guess about 11 o'clock in the morning, my dog, she's a cute little beagle, she's running around crazy, she wanted to go potty. So I took her out, I'm kind of leaning, you saw my porch, the long banister there at the front by the flower box. I was laying on like this, just kind of watching the traffic go by, waiting for the dog to go to the bathroom, because I really didn't want to be outside. And black SUV comes driving by, and I always pay attention, like if I hear something, because the neighborhood I live in is not so good. So even if it's just a vehicle, I always look. Blonde lady with short hair, she just waves, and I was like, okay, must be one of the new neighbors. There's new trailers down the street. So I waved hi, watched her drive down the rest of my street. She stopped at the stop sign. I watched her, instead of turn left to leave or right to go down another street, she went straight into Thoroughbred Court. She turned around really fast. She come flying back through the intersection. She almost got T-boned by a truck. I was like, that's crazy what you did. So she comes flying into not in my driveway, but with the nose of her car pointed towards my driveway. My dog immediately barks at everything. She's a beagle. She's got her lead stretched as far as she could, and she was barking and howling. I walked to the end of the driveway and said, is there something I can help you with? You make my dog go nuts. I don't like people. I'm not a people person. Rude or not. And she says, do you babysit? I said, no, I don't fucking babysit. I hate kids. She's like, oh, and she's like, well, I'm from Dateline. I said, okay. She's like, the TV show? I said, I've heard of it. I'm not stupid. And she's like, do you know what a soundbite is? I said, yeah. She says, what's a soundbite? I said, where people record clips and they use them for, you know, documentaries, whatever. She's like, right. She's like, I'd like to offer you the opportunity to record a soundbite for Dateline for $1,000 cash, no taxes, so there's no paper trail on Uncle Sam. I said, really? She says, yeah. My dog's going nuts. I was like, something just didn't, something felt off. So I was like, let me go put my dog in the house. So I put the dog in the house and got a big ass kitchen butcher knife, put it in my hoodie, and took a pocket knife that I have and opened it up and slid it up the sleeve of my hoodie. So it's because I'm paranoid. Like I said, I don't trust people. Been married almost for 10 years, don't really trust my husband. No reason not to. So I'm standing there, I'm talking to her, and the cars are kind of having to drive around, whatever. It's like, why don't you pull in my driveway? So I was standing there and I was talking to her, and thinks she's convinced me to do this soundbite. I was like, okay. And she's like, it's $1,000 if you come with me to record it, $1,000 when you're done. And if we choose your soundbite to use, we'll pay you $500 after it airs in September. But you can't tell anybody that you've done this. I said, okay. And I asked her what her name was, and she didn't tell me. She kind of like avoided it. She's like, and are you home alone? I was like, okay, here we go. I said, yeah, I am actually. She's begging. She's like, can you do this soundbite? I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And I'm like, where are you doing it at? She's like, points over towards like a block going the opposite way, because in my neighborhood you only got one way in and one way out. Right. And I was like, okay, sure, what the hell? I was like, let me go get my shoes on. You'll notice in the video I came out with no shoes on. because I want to see what she was up to. I'm very curious. Should I have gotten in the car? No, I'll admit that. But I climbed in her car. I got the knife in my hoodie, pointed at her because if
Did you get in the front seat or?
she was in the driver's seat.
No, where did you?
I
get
sat in the passenger's front
Okay.
seat. Because, I mean, and yeah, I had the knife, probably shouldn't have, but I'm going to protect myself. I'm curious, but I'm going to protect myself.
Mhm.
She'd have tried something stupid, she'd have been the one hurting. She drives, instead of backing out of my driveway, which is weird, and going back towards the main drag there, you know, like, she pulls out and she drives around Sorrel. And she's talking about, oh, you know, I don't know why this is the neighborhood the producers chose, these 2 trailer parks. I said, so where are you doing this? She's like, oh, we have a trailer that your park manager has already approved for us to use in one of the new homes that they just set up to record it. And I was like, funny, because they had to have been paying attention because we've had several new homes coming to the park. So I'm like, okay. And she's like, and I actually just dropped off one of your neighbors, and she mentioned ClLLer. I was like, okay. So she's driven around the neighborhood. She knows that there's really like 4 streets that are red Sorrel,
Right.
Colt, and I can't remember the other one. So anyway, when we get to Sorrel, she turns like she's leaving the park. So I'm just making chit chat with her. We get about like right there where the Rolling Meadows sign is. We get like maybe 2 courts up from that. I said, so exactly where are we gonna go to record this? She says in the neighborhood across from the shops in Lake St. Louis. First thing that came to my mind is, you lying bitch. The only thing across from the shops at Lake St. Louis is the highway. I said, crap. I said, I forgot my shoes that I wanted to get. And she's like, oh, well, you don't need your shoes. I was like, lady, I left my door unlocked. I gotta go lock my door. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, but we gotta hurry. We gotta get back to the house where we're doing this. Even though she's already busted herself because she said she's gonna do it at the trailer. We gotta get back to the house so I can take this one that they're doing now home, and we get you in there. He's like, the producer really doesn't like to wait. I was like, not a
What was the
problem.
last thing you said?
The producer doesn't like to wait.
Producer, okay.
And I was like, okay, no problem. So I ran back in the house and I picked up my phone. And I called my son. I was like, I'm using you as an excuse. Play along with what I say. She's like, okay. He says, okay. And so I had the phone actually on speakerphone. So she could hear I was actually on the phone. And she's sitting in my driveway. I told her, I said, pull in my driveway. I wanted to make sure I got her license plate, her vehicle fully on my security cameras. Because you don't know if somebody's going to kidnap kids in the neighborhood or what the hell their issue is.
Sure.
There's too many crazies in this world. I actually kind of want to see if I can get her out of the car. So I kind of stood away from the door because she had her driver's door open to see if I could get her to like get out of the car so I could get what she looked like on camera. It's like, I'm sorry, I really can't help you. My son just called me because she told me I couldn't bring my cell phone, which I did anyway. And I was like, I've got to go pick him up for work. She's like, oh, I can drive you. And I'm like, no, I know you're really busy. You got this stuff to do. I was like, plus it's all the way downtown. She's like, no, let me drive you. I was like, lady, I said, my husband, or not my husband, but my dad can drive me. It's fine. She leans out of the car a little bit and she's talking to me. She says, you have cameras, and jerks her head back in the car. I said, yes, I have a knife and know how to dial 911. You need to leave. And I walked in my house and she didn't waste no time leaving. This bitch is crazy.
When you guys were driving around and she told you about the soundbite, did she mention anything about what the soundbite was for?
She said it was for a 911 call. She also told me, I forgot about this, when we were driving around to Sorrel, she told me she was from Chicago. First thing that came to mind is, lady, you have Missouri plates. Because I pay attention to everything around me. I have to in the neighborhood I live in.
Sure.
It's not a good neighborhood. We call it the Ferguson of O'Fallon for a reason.
Okay, so having said that, did she produce any?
No, I actually asked her, I said, you know, at some point can I see some ID, maybe some credentials, says you work for Dateline? She says, they're in my purse in the back seat. She's like, I promise I'll show them to you when we get there. Okay.
How about money?
Nothing. Not even a waiver to sign for her to use, for permission to use my soundbite.
So she never showed you any money?
Never showed me any cash. Never showed me a waiver to sign. Never showed me any credentials. All I saw was her big white teeth, her stupid smile, her short blonde hair, and her black SUV with her blue shirt on.
Do you know what kind of SUV it was?
It was a Chevy. I don't remember what kind. I believe it was a Chevy. Like I said, it's been a little bit, so.
But it's on the video.
It is on video. We actually, when I called St. Charles County, because I came home, first thing I did was call my park managers to let them know, look, this is what they're saying, that they have your permission to do. Because it's the end of summer. I got several nieces and nephews and kids around that park that I do like that run around. I don't want to see anything happen to any of them. I'd much rather, okay, my husband's like, why'd you climb that car? I'm like, well, because if they're going to do something shady, I'd rather have me in that car than my nephew Cody or my niece Alyssa. You're not going to mess with my kids. You want to mess with me? Come on, I'm big. You're big. We can go. You're not going to mess with my kids. And something felt off about this lady from the second she come flying across that intersection and stopped at my driveway. And just my gut told me something's not right with this lady. I don't know if it was something, the look in her eye, or what, just something felt off. So
Do you remember what kind of clothing she was wearing?
she was wearing a blue shirt. It almost kind of reminded me of Scrubs. but it was just solid blue, kind of like the neckline of Scrubs, I think is what it was. There wasn't anything on it, it was just blue.
Just plain shirt.
Yep, she had short blonde hair, kind of like it had been curled and fixed up a little bit.
Okay.
Pants or anything? Remember the pants or anything?
I really don't.
No. Okay.
I wish I did.
So she told you the soundbite was for a 911 call.
Yep,
Did she say anything more about what kind of 911 call or what the 911 call would be in reference to? Or?
She asked me, nope, she did ask me in the car, had I ever, had any experience calling 911. I said, lady, do you see the neighborhood I live in? I can point you out every drug house in this neighborhood. Of course I have experience calling 911. I've lived here for 6 years. She's like, oh, you should be really good at this. I said, you'd think. And she, I gave several hints that, just in the tone I would use, but I knew she was up to something. She never had a clue on any of it. And then the next thing I did after I called my park manager was I called 911.
Sure.
I actually didn't call 911. I called and talked to a dispatcher and asked them to send somebody to my house because I was like, something was off, but I didn't know necessarily that this was some kind of an emergency, and I wasn't going to call 911 for it. So they sent a couple detectives out. They talked to me and my husband. They looked at the footage. The license plate number doesn't come up crystal clear. So, we had to guess it 3 different times before they got the correct license plate.
Okay.
But you can kind of, see, maybe, this much of her face and her short blonde hair and her blue shirt in the video. Where she was leaned out like this, and she's like, oh, you've got cameras, and pulled her body back in the car. Yeah, I have cameras. I have one that points that way, one that points that way, in the front and the back of my home. My husband's whole life and everything he does for his business is in those sheds and in that truck. Nobody's going to steal it. We work hard for what little pieces of crap we have.
Had you ever seen this car, this lady?
Never.
In the neighborhood
Never.
before? Never?
Nope, and I'll be honest with you, I've got beagled. I like to be outside on days when it's not too hot. 90% of the day, I'm sitting outside.
Okay.
Mostly because I like to watch my son with his broken heart pacing the driveway like he's got Tourette's or something. I'm easily amused.
Do you know, or had anybody said anything to you? If she had talked to anyone else
No.
about doing this?
No.
Or?
Actually, we have a community Rolling Meadows and Pen Oak Facebook page where, if people are selling something, offering services, have questions. Sure. I posted something about her and what she did. I didn't go to, it's not really detailed, just picking people up, claiming to be with Dateline, and, that I had called the cops. No details of anything else. I posted that on there. Not one neighbor or anybody that had commented on it said that they saw or that they had seen her or talked to her.
What details did you put out? Dateline?
Just said, warning of a lady in a black SUV with short blonde hair, claiming to be with Dateline, trying to pick people up, and then I called the cops. That's actually, I can pull it up and show it to you on my phone.
When you were inside the vehicle, did you notice anything in the
very,
vehicle?
very clean. There was a Walmart bag in the front floorboard and her purse in the back floorboard behind her seat. Other than that, looking around, there was nothing.
Nothing.
There wasn't nothing hanging. I don't think there was anything hanging from the rearview mirror. It was immaculate. It was like she just drove it off a showroom. That's how clean it was. It was like this creepy clean.
What color was the interior? Do you remember?
I want to say black, but it might have been gray.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it was black.
But it was clean.
Very clean, freshly vacuumed, new car smell clean, like she had it professionally detailed.
Okay. And then in the Walmart bag, did you see what was in the Walmart bag?
I didn't. Didn't bother to look. It was driver's seat, console, whatnot, area in between the 2 seats. My seat, it was right here, almost between, it was half between my seat and the console and half in the floor. Okay. So I really couldn't have paid attention if I would have seen what was in it. I just noticed that it was a gray Walmart bag.
Did she take any phone calls, text messages, do anything
Nothing.
with a cell phone?
I never saw her with a phone.
How long would you say from the time she pulled in your driveway and you got into the car, you were with her?
How long did we talk before I got in the car?
I would say
Probably a couple
when she
minutes.
pulled up to you, and told you she was with Dateline, asked you for the soundbite, how long would you say your interaction with her was until she brought you back home when you got out and told her that you were calling 911?
Probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Easy. Because I know between the time she pulled up and I talked to her and I put my dog in the house and I got the knife and I went back out and talked to her, and got in the car and whatnot. I know that was an easy full 5 minutes. So.
Okay.
And she waited there the whole time before.
Waited the whole time sitting in my driveway. Because I asked her to pull her car into my driveway because if she was up to something shady, my husband would be able to have the license plate of the crazy woman that left with his wife. Because he would know something was up if he came home and my door was unlocked, my dog was running around. She asked me several times, are you sure you're home alone? Lady, I'm home alone. Why would I don't lie to anybody. I don't care. I know, yeah, but I did on my phone before I went out and got in her car. I opened it up to the dial pad and I pushed 911 and then hit the side lock button. So if something did go on, all I had to do was unlock it and hit send. And I could, drop my phone where she wouldn't see it because I'm not stupid. I know cops. If you get a 911 call and nobody's on it, you guys are going to track that call. I'm not stupid.
So you had a heightened sense of.
Oh, yeah. From the second she pulled up to my driveway.
I think what we're going to do is, you reported that right away to the police, right?
Immediately. The first thing I did was called my park manager. She says, because I went in the house and I locked the door. And I set the knife right there. Because if you go into my couch, it's got a little table that folds out. I set the knife right there by the ashtray in case she was some crazy bitch that tried to come into my house. Because my husband's in probation. I can't have my protection there. My protection is a .40 caliber high point. I can't have that. Yes,
Sure.
It's a big gun for a little girl, but you know what? You get close enough and I'm going to hurt you. Even though I'm scared of guns, don't tell my husband that.
Do you remember about what time of day it was?
About 11 o'clock in the morning.
So it was early.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was, like I said, I just got done cleaning house. I'd say it was between 12:50 and 11:15. So about 11.
So just going back to the conversation that the two of you had, I mean, I know you've gone through a lot of the details. I just want to.
Uh-huh.
So she mentioned it was Dateline, 911 call. Any other details that she provided about like what you guys might be doing or what is she expected of you?
She said that when we got to the house, she was going to hand me I guess like a script. I get to read, a script of what she wanted me to say. I get to read over it a couple times. That she thought I'd be really good at it because apparently she thinks because I've called 911 before that I would have that experience, which is kind of stupid. And that they would record the soundbite. I got $1,000 when I got there to record the soundbite. Then I record the soundbite. Then if they liked the soundbite, they give me another $1,000. If it made the Dateline show at the beginning of September, that she would come back. Keeping in mind she had Missouri plates and she said she was from Chicago. And they would give me another $500 cash. All undetectable by Uncle Sam because they don't believe in having the taxpayers that are helping them have to pay money and everything, which is crap because she still did not ask me to sign a waiver.
So
Yes,
you
she
were promised in total you could have gotten as much as $2,500.
$2,000 in cash that day and $500 if they used the soundbite.
It was 1,000 up front.
$1,000
and
up front, $1,000 after I recorded.
And then did she mention what was going to be on the script? I mean,
No.
No.
She just said that it was a script of an actual recorded live 911 call. That's all she said. She said she didn't know which one, that they had several, so she didn't know which one she was going to have me read.
Okay. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have you write out a good detailed written statement.
That's absolutely fine.
Did you write out any statements or
No.
anything for county when you're?
I just told them, listen to them tell me how crazy. Oh, I'm going to need more than that.
No, well, and that's what I was just going to tell you. We got plenty of paper.
Started.
Put your first name, middle initial, last name on the big line up there. And then your age, or in the little line right here.
Didn't your mama tell you it's rude?
Notice I let him ask you that.
Yeah.
Oh, I started putting my husband's phone number.
And then your address right there. And then I would let's just start at the beginning, just kind of what you told me. Be as detailed as possible.
Tell you, I'll put it all in here.
I don't check for spelling or grammar, but just make it as legible as we can, and we'll go over it and make sure that we've got everything.
Then I'll get you, Carol, I'll get you a couple more sheets.
No, that's fine. I'm actually just going to scoot my chair up. Might take me a little bit.
No, take your time. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, that's fine. You
Um,
want a refill for your soda?
just like drink time.
Anything diet?
Pepsi or Coke don't matter?
I'll drink.
Okay.
I would like the date that it happened if either one of you knows, so I can actually start with the date because that annoys me. Do either one of you
Well,
know?
we know that we do, or we can find out the date because we know what date you called the police.
We can find it out.
I think for some reason I want to say it was the 10th.
I
Okay.
think it was the 10th.
I'm just going to put honor about.
That's fine.
That'll work.
That'll work perfect.
Chair there, you fucking idiot.
You all finished, Carol?
All done. Handwriting may get a little sloppy, my elbow started laughing.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, I just need you to sign the bottom of each.
Yeah, I didn't know if I had to
pages.
sign them in front of somebody.
No, that's fine. I'll sign them as the witness since we're both in here. And,
Date?
it is 8/17. I'm just gonna read over it.
No, you're
to
fine.
make sure.
I did forget on the first page where she had first asked me if I was home alone and stuff to reference that, but I did mention it over here that she'd asked me several times. It's a lot easier to have it come out of your mouth than to remember it in order and put it on paper sometimes.
Yeah. So she told you you weren't allowed to bring your phone, but you brought it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she wanted to make sure I was home alone, make sure there wasn't anybody in the house when I went back in, and she told me not to bring my phone, but I did anyway. Don't listen to anybody.
Okay, what we're gonna do now, Carol, is we got some paperwork that we're gonna do here. And,
Okay.
I'm just gonna basically ask you these
So
questions.
you're gonna write the
and then-
answers?
Yep, I'm alright. You're done. You're done
Alright.
writing for now.
Right.
Um, Okay. You obviously were in the vehicle with this woman,
Yes.
and you would probably recognize them again. That'd be
Oh,
fast.
yeah. I recognize her.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you these questions, and then we'll just go from there. So just kind of bear with me, and we'll be good. Do you wear glasses? Should you wear glasses or contacts? Or were you wearing any of those at the time of the incident?
Only when watching TV.
Glasses or
Glasses. Only when watching TV.
So you were not wearing glasses?
No. It's just when I watch TV and stuff, my eyes get tired.
Do you remember what the lighting conditions were when you viewed this person?
Oh, it was a beautiful, clear day. Sunny.
What was the visibility like when you viewed him?
What do you mean?
Like, was there anything that inhibited your visibility?
Yeah.
No.
It was clear.
How far were you when you viewed the person, if you had to guesstimate?
I was within 2 feet of her. Distance from me to you.
Okay. Do you know what kind of angle you were? Was it like a front, profile?
Front and side and profile. I saw her from every angle except the back.
Do you know what the weather conditions were that day?
It was clear. I mean, it had rained that morning, but it was clear.
Do you know this person's name, or have you seen
No.
them before?
I've never seen her before, and she never told me her name. That was one of the things that drew me to thinking because I asked her name and she just skipped the question and just kept going.
Was there any intoxication, fatigue, illness, injury, or impairment that you had when you viewed this person? Nope. You are a wife.
I'm purple. What are you talking
Do you remember the race of the person?
about? She was white.
Did you observe a weapon?
Only mine.
So they didn't.
No.
What do you think the length of time was that you had to observe this person during the incident?
From beginning to end,
Yeah.
I'd 10, 15 minutes.
10 to 15.
If I had to guess. Could have been a little less, could have been a little more.
What do you estimate the passage of time was from when you saw the person at the time of the incident and when you viewed this identification? How many days would you say passed?
Oh, about a week, week and a half.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of read you what's gonna go forward here. I'm just gonna basically read you the instructions, so I just need you to.
Okay.
You're gonna be asked to view a set of photographs, a photo lineup. The suspect who committed the crime may or may not be present. It is just as important to exclude an innocent person as it is to identify the person who did this. Individuals may not appear exactly as they did at the time or on the day of the incident, such as wearing hat, different
Right.
clothes, hairdos, beards, mustaches, etc. The police department will continue to investigate this incident regardless of whether or not an identification is made.
Okay.
You should identify the person who committed the crime if they're present in the photographs. You're not obligated to identify anyone if the suspect is not present.
Okay.
You can take as much time as necessary in making a decision about a photograph before moving on to the next.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to be showing you a number of photographs, one at a time. The photographs will be shown you in a random order.
Okay.
I will show you all of the photographs, even if an identification is made.
Okay.
So we're going to go through all the
Right.
photographs.
So say it's the third one you show me, you're still gonna show me number 12.
Correct. We're going to go through all of them. If you wish to view the photograph again, you may do so, but I'll need to show you all of the photographs again. So we'll
Okay.
have to go all the way to the
That's
beginning, go all the way through. Okay. Do you understand that? Have any questions about any of that?
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay.
This is the person that was driving the car
Yes.
that presented himself as an employee
Yes.
for Daylight.
Wait, is that the right one?
Do you need, hold on. Do you want to view him again?
Yes.
Okay.
I know, I forgot, we gotta do them all again, I forgot that part, sorry.
No, that's fine.
No. No. Okay, yeah, that's it. No. The only reason I recognized it, the first, the one before that one caught my eye because of the blue shirt, but it's the teeth.
Okay. Okay, if I can have you on down here, if you will go ahead and sign your name.
Print and sign?
You can just sign it, that's fine. And then put today's date,
17th.
8/17. Okay. Okay. I'm going to advise you now not to discuss this case with any other witnesses, victims, or parties that are involved in the case.
I don't know anybody else. So
And indicate that she did, basically you're not going to discuss this, you're not going to tell
Right.
when you identified anyone.
No, that's fine.
What would you say, in your own words, how certain are you of this identification?
I'm gonna say 90% because I'm never 100% certain of nothing, and it has been about a week and a half. But I'd say 90 to 95%.
Okay. Now, this will be short. Basically, what I want you to do is I just want you to write your degree of certainty on that identification.
I, how about not I, how about mine? anybody ever gonna tell me what the hell is going on?
I'm gonna go get one more thing, and then we will kind of.
We're gonna probably have another potty break in here.
Do you need to use the restroom?
Yeah, I got a very bad bladder.
Do you need to use it right now? Okay. I'll take a break, go to the restroom, no problem.
It's really a bad thing. My son damaged my kidneys while I was pregnant, so I blame him.
You got your phone on you, Carol?
No, you guys have it out there.
Right here.
My phone and my cigarettes.
Oh.
I gave
So
them.
that's something we let you have a cigarette in here?
No, I gave everything up when you guys came in. I could have not smoked in this room. That's rude.
It is what it is. You said you put something about when she came talk to you on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Is that still on there that we can show us
Absolutely, they
that?
don't delete nothing on Facebook. Are you kidding me? If I could spell.
You know what? I'm gonna get the camera.
Bring my cigarettes. Not that I'm gonna smoke it, but it's funny.
We're almost done.
I'm not gonna smoke it. I just don't like them being out of my sight.
Okay, great.
You guys should actually tell the admins to let you go on this page.
I was just out there following the trail.
Yeah, that was my son. My son is
That's
wonderful.
funny.
Oh, my son's all into this stuff. He gets in trouble with the cops. And then he loves talking to the cops and helping them. He just doesn't like them when they, write him tickets and arrest. You know, guys, I could screenshot it and text it to one of you. It's not that hard.
No, that's okay. We'll take pictures. It's not that big of a deal.
Thanks for the soda. That one's kind of flat.
Not a problem.
Yeah, and the flip out of the lighter disappeared. It's camo and it's got purple on it. And my husband bought it for me, so. I really
Speaking of which, if you want to call him, we're going to give you a ride back home.
Huh?
We're going to give you a ride back home.
They didn't eat me back home. They are bringing me home soon.
Yeah, we're leaving in like a couple seconds.
Just leave me alone. Stupid children.
We're actually going to take off now, Carol.
Oh, do you want me to throw my trash away?
We'll just leave there. We can.
That's
You can bring a
rude.
soda and finish
That's
it.
rude. I don't do that. My parents raised me that.